everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Clarepoint podcast with me, Randy Prizzle. How you guys all doing out there? Everything good, shway, crispy, irie? I'm not gonna lie, it hasn't been good, shway, crispy, irie for me right now. Lack of sleep settings, and obviously there's noises going on outside and around. Woke man up, but you know what? As the Lupe Fiasco song said, the show goes on. Alright, already the show goes on. But I'm going to be warning you guys. Randy's not in the greatest of moods today. I'm talking myself in the third person already. So that's when you know shit's about to go down. You know what I mean? There probably is going to be a lot of cursing in this episode. I'm not going to lie to you lot. Probably a lot of truth as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to be letting it all hang out. Literally like the theme song that was on the series they used to come on adverts. Let it all hang out. Let it all hang out. But anyways, let me stop with the actual waffling and being the happiness and all that. Yeah, it's just a pair of the glasses case I'm moving around, so it doesn't really matter about that. I didn't really prepare much. I just kind of just came and just went, yeah, let's just do this right now. So all of that's there. Yes, let's get on to the before we start, I just want to say rest in peace to Quincy Jones. So if people didn't know, Quincy Jones obviously has passed away. And people may know Quincy Jones for the person who was behind some of the productions for the hits of Michael Jackson, in terms of like Billie Jean. He was very influential in the music scene in the 60s, 70s, 80s, I think even 90s and periods and so on and so forth. Massive big rest in peace to Quincy Jones, legendary producer, obviously has passed away, so that has just broken. And I just want to say my condolences to his family, and obviously let the music play. You know what I mean? Let's obviously keep reminding ourselves of him and of his glory and everything else to do with that. But let's move forward. We will expect some background noise today because, as I said, it's just kind of the calm before the storm. There was a lot of drilling going on outside. There was a lot of noise and all of that happening out there. Something to do with leaf blowers and all of that was happening. So it was moving quite mad. You know what I mean? Kind of fucked me off. But hey, there we go. Let's get into this. We got a lot to discuss in this episode, a lot. So let me stop waffling on. Let's get into the episode, the Clarepoint podcast. We're only going to come to one of Randy's advice for right now because there's a lot to dive into. So the first piece of advice we've got from this person: I'm a 49-year-old virgin. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm a 49-year-old virgin man, meaning I've lived almost half a century without having sex. Not just sex, but any kind of intimacy. The reason for this is pretty clear, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm extremely ugly. On top of that, I'm poor as dirt. For the last 30 years, I've bounced around in manual labour jobs, barely making ends meet. A few months ago, my health took a nosedive, and now I'm jobless, staring at the walls of my cold, crumbling house. I've been unemployed for 3 months, and my funds are almost gone. Honestly, I've started treating my life like one big joke. Every time I think I've hit rock bottom, life looks at me with a grin and says, "Oh, you thought that was the worst." At this point, I'm probably going to die in this house. Damn. I know one will discover me for years. But you know what? I'm still laughing at the absurdity of it all. Life may be cruel, but I'm going to enjoy the punchline while I can. Listen, big up to that guy. Do you know what? You've just got to live your life. As the TR song, just live your life. Hey, no never no paper, just live your life. Listen, I hear it. You know what I mean? And I'll get into some of my experiences right now. And I didn't want to reveal some personal details to people, but I'll have to, because I'll have to relate in some ways. But I hear that, man. You just have to keep your head up. You just have to keep believing in your source, like the Tupac songs. Keep your head up, ooh, child. Things is gonna get easier. You just gotta keep your head up. You know what I mean? I know life feels like it's tearing you down and putting you left, right, and pushing you down the drain. But I think the one thing I would suggest is to try and see a therapist. Now, I know you probably don't have money for it. if you probably speak to friends, if you do have some friends or someone that's in your life or, cares about you, just speak to them. You know what I mean? Have a conversation with them. Tell them how you're feeling. Potentially that can keep your spirits high. Um, and just keep trying new things so you see what sticks. Just keep trying new things, believing in yourself. Maybe even like change up what you wear if you feel like maybe something internal inside of you. So that's generally what I'd say. All right, that's just my little advice for him in terms of how to potentially turn it around, like the Fats and Small song. Got to turn around. As I said, background noises. Now we've got fireworks happening. The podcast hasn't ended and we're already hearing the Katy Perry stuff. Baby, you're a firework. All of that. But you know what? It's what I said. It's bootleg setting. It's what it is. But anyways, I've lost my trail of thoughts now, but that out there was a mad one. Still a cool man of God. It made me go, what the fuck? But this is what it is. But anyways, life is going to be what it is, up and down, roundabouts and roly-polies and that. So you've just got to be ready to take it on. Now, my final thought and my final clairpoint to him is just try to be happy. Don't worry. Woo, 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 woo. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Woo, 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 woo. I know it's very hard to do that, but find a way. As I said, speak to some people, family members, anything like that. Keep your spirits high. Just keep trying to do new things and just keep trying to improve yourself. Anyways, my experiences. Oh God, here we go. Man, I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna have to. All right, I can kind of relate here. People said, "What do you mean you can kind of relate? Are you a virgin?" No, I've only had one sexual encounter with someone, and it wasn't very pleasant. So it generally feels like I'm in that category because when the deed was done, I felt violated. I'm not gonna lie. I felt violated. It didn't feel like the real thing. The perception in my head was something that was completely different, and yeah, it's something that kind of scarred me. I'm not gonna lie. It left me not trusting people, trusting, let's say, females. As much as I like, and I say I liked things in previous podcasts, because I liked females, I generally don't really want to get closer to someone because I feel like that person has bad intentions or ill intentions or anything like that that is just poor, or it's in the dirt, or it's going to fuck me up in different ways. So that's generally why I'm very much standoffish from people, females in general. I don't say females, women in general, and I feel like their intentions are not the greatest intentions. Their intentions are not pure. And listen, I've struggled as well myself with self-love. Back in the days, in my younger teens, I didn't feel I was good enough. I never felt I was great enough. I wasn't popular in school. I wasn't the man. So, you know what I mean? Like the Richard Black song, I wasn't the man, I was the rest. Like, Mama used to say, take your time, young man, you the man, you will love people all day. No, I wasn't. I was a weirdo. I don't think people really gravitated towards me. I tried to bust a joke in school and just tried to fit in, but I just didn't generally think I did fit in. So it was very peak for me in those days. Listen, I lost two of my close buddies at the start of school. They left and it went downhill from there. And when it did, I took a nosedive. I'm playing settings and all that. And I don't want to revert to obviously playing tragedies and that, but yeah, it was a tragedy, literally, like the step song and all that, or the Bee Gees, if you want to refer to them as well. Tragedy. But yeah, I think I've just learned to just appreciate myself more and just appreciate what I do. Fake pause. So yeah, it's one of those things that you know what to kind of expect from life. Expectations for me from life wasn't so high. I wasn't feeling so great. I wasn't feeling high, so high. I want to touch the sky. I wasn't feeling so high. So, and I think I was generally a weirdo. Didn't really want to start doing things and put myself about terms of doing podcasting, in terms of doing things like that. It took me a while. As I said, from the ages of kind of 20-ish, I started to feel a little bit of myself, a little bit, and I started to say, let's get uncomfortable, Randy. Let's get myself out of this dimension, this hole, and let's put myself to a place. Because listen, I've been obviously, assaulted by people before in my younger days, school settings. I was obviously picked on because I was different, because I was weird, because I wasn't the normal of people. I didn't really fit into a mold or a category. Was I a weirdo? Was I an emo? Was I... Who the fuck knew? Do you know what I mean? I'm joining with someone who was just like, let's just see where this goes. Because primary school days, I wasn't the man. I didn't really want to be heard by anyone. No one cared about my opinion. No one gave a fuck about me. And it just was what it was. Kids were cruel back in those days. Wish the Bobby Brown song came out right at times and told people, don't be cruel. I will never be that cruel to you. But kids were cruel. Do you know what I mean? So, but in terms of my sexual encounter, it was what it was. It's something that made me, as I said, doubt. I would want to find someone, but I have to I could say, them in. Do you know what I mean? Like the theme, I have to let them in, let me in. And that's the thing. It's very difficult for me to kind of put my walls down and say, hey, do you understand me? And some people will just look, and if they see a bit weird, then they probably would want to run away. Do you know what I mean? You're a bit creepy or you're a bit weird here. As I said, I like girls, but at the same time, I just don't fully trust their intentions. So I'm very much sometimes defeating them before I can get a chance to make anything happen. Do you know what I mean? So hence that and that I've been waffling on. I've been waffling on like a pancake settings. I've been waffling on like the waffle machine. But anyways, that's just my thought on that, and that's just my encounter. I never wanted to, let's say, put this out there, but I've done it. So uncomfortable. Yes, I'm kind of uncomfortable, but hey, you gotta get it done. So yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So somebody stop there. But anyways, that's that for Andy's advice and my big reveal on the whole advice situation. But what are you guys' thoughts on that? Put your comments below or keep them to yourself. It's a bit of therapy, this was a slight bit of therapy and all that. But yeah, listen, I'm more comfortable in my skin now. 100%. Do you know what I mean? So it's not anything bad or whatever. But let's move forward now. We've got a lot to talk on this episode, so we've got to run through a lot of things. Now let's summarize some of these TV series that I've been watching. Okay, Black Ops. Obviously, people don't know it's available on BBC Three. It's a very comedic, funny series, well worth a watch. I can't remember his star, and I think one of the people who starred in it was from Famalam. If people remember that series that went on, that controversial series that went on, I think it was BBC or Channel 4. It's one of them series. But yeah, but it's very funny, very comedic. Kept me laughing kind of from start points to finish. So it wasn't something that bored me. It kept the entertainment going. I didn't think, oh, for fuck's sake, this is just part this and part that. No, it kept rolling. It kept rolling like the Limp Bizkit song. Rolling. Oh, you know what I mean? It kept happening. And that's what I appreciated about it. It just kept going. And sometimes when you have the action that just keeps doing what it needs to do, that's when it hits the spot. That's when it hits the target. And that's what I liked about it. So Black Ops for me, I'll give it an 8.2. And that's it. Quick review on that one. Let's move on to the next one. Love is Blind. I think it was season 8. The last season that happened. Obviously available on Netflix, so people want to check it out. It's available there. This season was a bit mad, a bit chaotic. Do you know what I mean? In terms of obviously certain cheating allegations was going on, and so you need to watch all of that yourself to find out. Do you know what I mean? And basically, if people don't know what the synopsis is about Love is Blind, it's basically these people go and get married, yeah, for the first time. They don't know anything, they've not seen that person. They basically go on a whim and chat to these people in these pods and kind of form a connection and try to make it happen, basically. So they would connect basically without seeing each other, kind of like the voice thing, you know what I mean? Where, this is the voice, the chairs is to back to them and they can't see who's performing. So you're getting that. But these people are obviously trying to do this in a settings where they're trying to fall in love. And when they do fall in love, they do propose. So if they're feeding that person, and that person is the one, as they'd say, like Neo and that, they would marry them. So they put a ring on it, and then kind of when they've said yes to the marriage thing, they go forward, and then they have this big reveal to kind of let them see each other, and boom, and then it goes on from there. They figure shit out, and they have about 30 days till they get married, so they get to know each other during those 30 days even more in person, and find out if they connect the dots and all that. Do you know what I mean? Like connect four and that, and all those things, like tic-tac-toe. You know what I mean? All of that, noughts and crosses. So it's a good program to watch. Craziness that happened and unfolded. As I said, if you're into like that kind of reality TV series aspects in terms of love and all of that and the above, that was rhyming. I didn't mean to make that rhyme, but I did. So yeah, go and check it out. Love is Blind. The latest season is up. Go and watch that shit. It's quite good. As far as ratings, this season was still a bit chaotic and mad. So I'll give it about an 8. So I'll give it 8 for that one. Move on to the next one we got, which is Sweet Bobby, My Catfish Nightmare. So I watched this kind of just literally last night. So this was basically about a guy who catfished a woman, basically. So if you've watched Catfish before with Neve Schulman and that, you kind of would understand the concept of this. So this Asian lady who's a Sikh, she gets to know this guy Bobby, and this Bobby guy, obviously, in long story short, is Catfish. So it's been played by someone else. I don't want to reveal who it is. You will need to find that out. But there's a whole heap of madness that leads to a lot of things transpiring. Obviously, I'm just going to say simply, she loses her job and she loses a few more things. So you would need to look on that yourself. But as far as I'm concerned, in terms of like the whole catfishing thing, how you would avoid these catfishes, number one, you would ask the video chat. First and foremost, you would say, I'm not going nowhere with you unless we video chat, and I need to see you in person. After the first 2 chats, I need to see you in video format. If I ain't seen you in video format and then we ain't planning the date afterwards, then you can fuck off, as far as I'm concerned. Because listen, people say, well, Randy, I'm not gonna lie, I have been catfished before. Yeah, I was led to believe that this girl was gonna meet man, I was gonna get to know man, and she deceived me. And this was about 4 times. I said, cool, let's meet up, let's go here. No, I don't want to meet up and go here. All right, let's meet up and go here. Yeah, I mean, and she said she was an emo chick. She didn't really want to go out and about. She was scared to go out in the public. And I started to put 2 and 2 together. Listen, it took me a while because I was gassed. This girl's kind of buff, do you know what I mean? She's out of my league and that, do you know what I mean? That song, she's out of my league. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Shouldn't have done the singing part. As I said, I'm still trying to recover from this stupid cold and flu thing. It's been kind of lasting long. So you should see a doctor. Probably should see a doctor. Do you know what I mean? The doctor's just going to tell you the same thing. Take couple of paracetamol, ibuprofen, you'll be alright. Don't know why I changed the accent there, but I did that. But still, yes, the catfish thing was mad. Going back to that, I would say if you'd obviously look for the signs in terms of someone is a catfish. Now, for me, I didn't obviously check the signs. I didn't see the signs like the songs. I mean, I saw the signs. Oh, you're putting up my eyes and saw the signs. I didn't see the signs. Do you know what I mean? Like Snoop Dogg and, you know what I mean, Justin Timberlake song as well. Are you telling me this is a sign? Closed my eyes to it. I wasn't looking in her eyes. I was looking beyond that. So... so it is what it is there. It's one of them things where I look at and I say, I slap myself and I go, Randy, what the fuck, man? Like, what the fuck? Like, do you know what I mean? Why would you not wake up and see what the fuck's going on there? This girl never gave a shit about you. And obviously the first time I chatted to her on the phone, she was all like, oh yeah, but I can't trust people very easy, and I kind of related to that. Do you know what I mean? They kind of try to relate to you on them things. Like, all men are not the same. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like you're just gonna do me like everybody else would. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had bad experiences, and I think like within like the first kind of period of time, I tried to conversate with this girl, say, listen, I'm not like these other guys. You know what I mean? I'm not like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm a guy who's kind of patient and try to get to know you for who you are, see where this thing can go. I'm not gonna try and do the maneuvering thing and try to, do the whole row your boat thing and get in there, let's do the whole, gently down the stream stuff. No. I'm all about let's get into find out and figure out who your personality is and who you are and find out all about you. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all about you. At that period of time, well, I thought it was, which I know now it wasn't all about her, baby. So it's a no, generally. But I had to wake up and smell the roses, and I eventually did, and I cut her off. So, long story short, after the fourth time of trying to meet up, and she left man hanging dry, like some washing line and clothings and that, I said, fuck this. I got no time for this bullshit. You're playing games. So Serrani, it's the reverse Serrani in that. I ain't got time for no games, literally. She was doing that, so. Games, no games, you're the only one that I want my head, baby, I'll make it great, all of that. So that was where it was for me in terms of that. But she should have woken up and saw the signs. I do look at her and say, after a period of time when you start to see things unraveling, you kind of have to open up your eyes and just look and see what the fuck's going on behind the rose-tinted glasses. And this person was talking to her for like 9 years. 9 years. She kept this going on with this person for 9 years. 9 years. 9 pussyclot years. I was like, yo, 9 years. Insane. But crazy to watch. Listen, drama settings and all that, great to watch. But anyways, that's my thoughts on that. Well worth a watch. Let's move on to the next one. We got Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 2. Now, as I said, I think from the first season, these are pointless, to be honest. Pointless series. Should have probably just done it in a film format. Let's be real. A lot of waffling, a lot of ongoing stuff, just not a lot of action. Should have been like the reverse Elvis song that. A little less conversation, a little more action. And then generally was a lot more conversation and a little less action. And that generally was the frustrating part for me. Cool, you get the big reveals and all that, but at the end of the day, we all know what the fuck has happened. If you haven't seen the Lord of the Rings film, great. This is well worth a watch for you. And if you obviously haven't seen the Hobbit film, good, well worth a watch for you. Do you know what I mean? Because this happens before those period of film times. So it goes The Rings of Power, then it goes The Hobbit, then it goes, Lord of the Rings. So that's kind of how it all works if you're going to watch and all of that and the above. So, for me, pointless. If you're going to do this in film format where it's shorter, where you get to the point where we see all the ongoings. This whole Series 1, Series 2 could have just been done in a film. And that's the annoying part for me. Do it in a film, didn't need to be in a series. A lot of waffling, a lot of all going bullshit, yah-ra-di-da-di-da, la-da-da-di-da. Crap. I just was a bit frustrated by it, to be honest, and that's the problem. It just wasn't something that kept sticking to a point, kept on going, and then you had a bit of action, and then there's more talking and more waffling. You had a little bit of action, and there's more talking and more waffling. What the fuck? Then that was the annoying thing about this series. I like Lord of the Rings. I'm a big Lord of the Rings guy. I like Lord of the Rings. I'm not saying that I'm the hugest fan and I know all the fucking words and I know the theme song. But I'm not one of these buffins that know the words for everything. Where I know all of everything, like connecting the dots and that. Oh, this is when that happened, or this is when this happened, or this is all that when that happened, or this is when Gandalf comes in that. No, fuck that, that's long. Do you know what I mean? But all I do know from the cinematic perspective point of view, great film to watch. Fantastic, wonderful, I enjoyed it because the similarity is there was the equal amount of talking for equal amount of action and it was engaging. You know what I mean? The dramatic settings were there too. So all of that connected the dots for me. This right here, in terms of the Rings of Power, doesn't connect all the dots. There's just a lot of waffling, and then a slight bit of action, and there's more waffling. Just put it in a fucking film. And that's all I feel. If you've done the first season, second season, and potentially the other third season that's going to come out, do it all in a fucking film. Boom. 3-hour long film. Fair enough. You would have had all of that in abundance crammed into one, and it would have made for an epic encounter. But it didn't. A lot of waffling. So that's where I think it fell short for me. That's why I have to give Lord of the Rings, Ring of Power 4 for me. It's getting a 4. Simple as a lot of waffling. A lot of waffling. When the action finally happened, that was like the final 2 episodes of the season. It's like, bruh, it's too late, man. Bruh, all this time. But I'm not gonna lie, I will end up watching season 3 when it does come out. Well, you don't want to know why? Because I'm a Lord of the Rings guy, so I will do it. So it's one of them things where, yeah, I'm cussing it off, but I'll end up watching it still. So it's one of them, you know what I mean? So I can't deny that. But fucking hell, man. Anyways, let's move on. Now we're gonna talk football, Premier League, and all the above, everything like that. But before that, what do you guys think of all I discussed here? Black Ops. Yeah. Show must go on. As I said, I'm nowhere near to relieving all of that. But Black Ops, Love is Blind, Sweet Bobby, my Catfish nightmare, Lord of the Rings of Power, all of that. All your thoughts on them. You can put your comments below or keep it to yourself. And cool, let's move forward to talk Ruben Amorin becoming obviously the new Man United manager. Now listen, this is great news for Man United. In terms of now where they're probably out there banter era and they've got a new manager in, that's going to give them that new manager perspective. Now obviously I don't know much about Ruben Amorin. I don't pretend to know much about him. Obviously I know he came from another club and he's joined Man United, yada yada yada. Do I think he's going to be a success there? I've heard he plays attacking football. I think I've seen a couple of his games of his previous team he managed. So I think he can do a really good job for them. I think, but obviously the jury will be out. You know what I mean? Man United fans are going to be expecting certain things to be going in. You can't just come in and just change a perspective, but they're not winning things. And people say, this is rich, you talk, look at the team you support and what they're doing right now. Okay, but I'm talking from the perspective of Ruben Amorin coming in and being, you know, Man United's new manager. You've had obviously Oli at the wheel. She drove into a cliff. You have obviously now Tuchel. Tuchel's taken his tank and, you know, just derailed it. You know what I mean? And now we obviously have this guy coming in, Ruben Amorin. Now, obviously, what is Ruben going to do? We don't know, but we're going to find out and see. You know what I mean? I do think it's a big job to be taken at Man United. But listen, you can't get any worse than what's gone on. And I do think that Man United will bounce up their era of dismay and disruption and probably jump into an era where they potentially start to challenge again for titles, for big titles. I'm not talking about Carabao Cups and, you know, FA Cups. Those are, it's nice to win an FA Cup, but let's be real. Big teams have won it. Alright, so that's just showing my thoughts on Ruben Amorin. I think he's a good appointment for Man United because they can't get any worse than what they got. So, but let's see what he does there. If he's going to survive a year, if he's going to be there for a longer period of time, if it's a short time, do you know what I mean? We'll find out. In terms of me predicting how long he's going to be there for, it depends on how he gets started. It depends on how everything goes and everything continues and everything transcends. So we wait and see. I think the jury's still out on him. I think he would last for, it could be a short time, it could be a long time. But if things go well, I think it could be a long time. But we have to wait and see. Now, obviously, on to Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel, I didn't obviously break the news and talk about this when the news broke, that Thomas Tuchel is the new England manager. I know people were a bit frustrated and a bit annoyed by it, but do you know what? Excuse the background noise. It is what it is. You know, all of that settings there. But it's a good appointment for England. And people say, for England, aren't you an England fan? No. I support Africa. That's the motherland, the heritage, and that. So much love to share, your blackness, one is so rare. All of that, Mama Africa. So yeah, but I think it's a good appointment for Tuchel to be the new England manager. I think he has experience in cup competitions, which can do England very well. Um, he could do well for England, and he could be good for the knockout cup competition. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. For a lot of people that were dismaying, oh, he's German and this, that, and that, they're just waffling at this point in time. Do you know what I mean? They're just haters. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. People are just like, oh yeah, we should have been an English manager. If we had an English manager, then we would have been going a lot further. But you have English managers like Frank Lampard, like Steven Gerrard, like these legends, yeah, that have played club football, but they're performing shit when they're going into club football. You know what I mean? Into managing some clubs. They perform terrible. Do you know what I mean? So, and there's a big difference in terms of where the managers abroad have probably had, let's say, better studying and been better equipped, while English managers have just been going, well, we just need you now, so here's the money. Do you know what I mean? Not really worrying or caring about their experiences in terms of where they've managed or coached or had their badges even. So they're just thrown straight into the limelight. And this is what you get, do you know what I mean, dross from some of these managers, because they don't know. They don't know all the details. They don't know all the details. They don't know all of them. So it just is what it is there. So Thomas Tuchel, I think, is kind of the one that's probably the most qualified for this position. So I think it's a good appointment for England. So yeah, we move on from that one. All right, and that's that. We're going to move on now to talk, obviously. But before we do, let me get a quick pause. Yes, now we come on to to be the champion. And that was obviously a better whistle this time around. Last week it was a bit terrible. Anyways, let's move on. We come to match day 4 of the Premier. What am I talking? Premier. We're not even there yet. Oh, you jumped the gun. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we're on to UEFA Champions League match day 4. You know what I mean? Let's get on to that. First match we've got to predict: Slovan Bratislava versus Dinamo Zagreb. This is tomorrow's game at 5:45. So the time of this podcast being shot is 4:07 p.m. on a Monday. So this time says what the time is now, so I can predict these games. I feel like it's going to be a Zagreb win. I'm going to go for a tight one though, a 2-1 Zagreb. PSV versus Girona, again at 5:45 p.m. I'm going to go for PSV. Girona's been playing well in this competition, to be honest. I'm going to go for a 2-2 actually. 2-2. Dortmund versus Sturm Graz. I'm going to go for Dortmund. 4-1 Dortmund. 4-1 Dortmund. Celtic versus RB Leipzig. I'm going to go for RB Leipzig. I'm going to go with 2-1. No, I think a draw actually. 2-2. Celtic Park will be rocking. I think it'll be a wild atmosphere for Leipzig to go there, but I think they'll end up with a draw. 2-2. Real Madrid versus Milan. It's a big game of the Champions League so far. One of the big games. I'm going to go for Real Madrid. I think they'll end up turning it around somehow. Be a tight affair though. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Real Madrid. Los Lille versus Juventus. I'm going to go for Juventus win. 2-1 Juventus. Liverpool, Leverkusen. That's a big game. That's another big tasty game on tomorrow. I'm going to go for... This is a big test for Slot as well. You know what I mean? Xabi Alonso coming back to Liverpool as well. So, as a manager. This is a tough one to predict, but I think the Kop will be up for this one. So I'm going to go for Liverpool in this one. 3-2 Liverpool. Sporting Lisbon versus Man City. Gokares rise. But yeah, against Sporting, against these cheating scumbags. Um, I hope Sporting win, but I don't see it, to be honest. Unfortunately, no, I'm gonna say a draw. 1-1, 1-1. Bologna versus Monaco. I'm gonna go for another draw. 1-1. Shakhtar the next. Young boys. 3-1 Shakhtar. Club Bruges versus Aston Villa. 2-1 Villa. Feyenoord versus RB Salzburg. 2-1 Feyenoord. PSG versus Atletico Madrid. It's a big game as well. This is on the Wednesday, by the way, so this game be on the Wednesday. You don't know with either team what you're going to get, to be honest. This has got a draw written all over this, hasn't it? I think it has. 1-1. Bayern versus Benfica. 3-1 Bayern. Sparta Praha versus Brest. 1-1. Zavania, I'd always butcher this name. Zavania, Zvezda. I might have done better there, but yeah. Barcelona, 5-0 Barcelona. Maybe they get a goal, 5-1. Inter versus Arsenal. Big game for Arsenal. Big game for us. We haven't been playing well. There has to be a response. But to go to Inter's ground and win there in the San Siro, I'm going to go for a draw on this one. 1-1. Stuttgart versus Atalanta. I'm going to go for Atalanta. A 3-1 Atalanta win. And that's it for my Champions League predictions. So what are you guys' thoughts and predictions for the Champions League? You can put your comments below on that one or keep them to yourself. With that, cool. We're going to move forward now to the Premier League. So let's get on to those thoughts on the Premier League. But before we do, I just want to touch on Arsenal very quickly. Very disappointed. Very, very disappointed in the performance that happened on the weekend. Poor. This cough, it's poor. Absolutely poor. Despicable. Like despicable me. That's all I've got to say on that. Am I shocked by it? It's been coming. Certain players are not good enough to be in this squad. I've lost patience with Jesus. I think he needs to go now. Kai Havertz was never that general striker that people were talking about. So, but I said I'll wait till generally the end of the season or the season after and finally put my judgment on him. So, but Mikel Arteta got it completely wrong. Completely wrong. And now people say, did you watch the game? I didn't watch all of the game. I watched parts of it. And the parts I saw, we were pathetic. Absolutely abysmal performance. So we deserve to get beaten. No question about it. Well done to Newcastle. Congratulations to them. And fantastic result for them. You know what I mean? They had a game plan. They stuck to their game plan. They beat us with that game plan. We were shit. And we deserve to get beaten. Do you know what I mean? Poor marking as well. On the cross coming in to mark Isak, we didn't mark him. Left him. You know, Gabriel and Saliba, usually our strongest defenders. Guys who are always on point, went on point that game. Lost in the, like a dare in the headlights. So we deserve to lose. So no qualms about it. But that's like 3 losses in a row, isn't it, so far? 2 losses currently in the Premier League. I'm not a happy bunny right now. My thoughts on Mikel Arteta, we're going to have to wait till the end of the season. You know what I mean? I'm going to give him time. As I said, my expectations are top 4, get us in that top 4, or a trophy. And I'm not talking about Carabao Cup. So, as simple as that. If that doesn't happen, there is going to be a backlash. Do you know what I mean? I will be starting an Arsenal sort of thing down the line soon. Potentially talks for reactions, match day predictions, that it will come soon. I was trying to pick a right time for it to come. I don't want to do it when we're losing games. That's why I haven't really done it yet. So, yeah, or getting draws. So, it's in the works. It's coming soon. But anyways, let me stop waffling on. We've still got more to come, and time is overrunning. Gone past the 40-minute mark now. It's a lot. So, let's get into these predictions for the Premier League. Wolves, Southampton. I'm going to go for... This got drawing all over this. 1-1. West Ham, Everton. Two teams are quite poor, to be honest. Everton on a bit of form, but they just lost the last game. I think another draw on this one too. Another 1-1. Brentford, Bournemouth. Both teams are kind of just picking up a little bit of form, aren't they? So it's going to be an interesting game. It's at Brentford's ground. Shock win as well for Bournemouth. Do you know what I mean? Congratulations to them for beating City as well. 2-1 Brentford though. Crystal Palace, Fulham. Crystal Palace are at the rock bottom, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? But they have to rise, don't they? They really have to rise. They beat, I think, Tottenham, with a 1-0 result. They have to rise. It's a tough one to predict, this one, because it could go either way. Crystal Palace are wishy-washy. Fulham. I think Fulham will overcome, though. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Fulham win. Brighton versus Man City. Man City have to bounce back, don't they? But this is another tough run in for them. But they should bounce back. They really should. If they're going to be up there, pushing with Liverpool, I think they are. For me, as far as Arsenal are concerned, title's over. Do you know what I mean? It's done. But anyways, 3-2 Man City. Liverpool versus Aston Villa. This is a big game. Big game. Villa, they were pathetic in their last game against Tottenham. Poor. So I would expect them to come back and answer back for their crimes. So I'm going to go for Aston Villa drawing this game actually with Liverpool. I think this could be a draw. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 in Anfield. It's mad, but I think they'll get a draw. Man United versus Leicester City. New resurgence. Root's still in charge right now. I'm going to go for United win. 3-1 Man United. Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle. These are two teams that are playing well, top of the table, doing well so far. Nottingham Forest, surprise package so far. This can go either way as well. Just really could. I'm going to go for a draw on this one. I think the first 0-0 result, to be honest. We're going 0-0 on that one. Tottenham versus Ipswich Town. Tottenham. They're at home. They're picked up form. Probably 3-0 result, I think, for Tottenham. Chelsea Arsenal. This is a big game. Weekend, Sunday's game. Arsenal have to answer back to that disappointing result against, Newcastle. They should answer back. Are they? Your guess is as good as mine. I see a draw written on this one, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to go for a draw. 1-1. That's it for my predictions for the matches. Just want to obviously touch on some of the results that happened on Matchday 10. So Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. Let's do the voice. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. Liverpool 2, Brighton 1. Ipswich Town 1, Leicester City 1. Bournemouth 2, Man City 1. Southampton 1, Everton 0. Nottingham Forest 3, West Ham 0. Wolves 2, Crystal Palace 2. Tottenham 4, Aston Villa 1. Man United 1, Chelsea 1. Fulham Brentford to play today at 8 p.m. So that's it. And that's that, guys. Can't really do this. It's been a long episode. Big up to all of you guys for checking out this episode and obviously rocking with man and, you know, the whole big reveal and that. But anyways, your thoughts on the Premier League, you put your comments below on that one or keep it to yourself. Champions League 2, all of that. Tuchel, Ruben Amorin, all of those thoughts below. You can keep it to yourself. Appreciate you guys' time. Been a long-winded episode. Long and winding road, like song. Long and winding road. All of that, but it is what it is. Big up yourselves. All of them below if you're feeding that. And you know what we usually do when we finish? Peace, love, unity, have fun. And you're either all in or clear out.